Hey guys, Wednesday, July 9th of 2025. It's that time. This is my part 2 of the uranium spot price. But I figured I cover futures also in some of the stocks that I have on my radar. So without any further delay, let's get into it. So far, uranium futures almost kissed or barely kissed the 25% on the APF, which is the Andrews pitchfork. For those that don't know what the Andrews pitchfork is a way to use geometry and angles to measure the markets. And you take the low of 2016, the high we made at around 106, take the low of 63. You want to kind of eyeball possible turning points or resistance. So where, pretty much uranium futures could struggle. And so far, you can see that we almost kissed it at the 25%. So this is the 0, 25, 50, 75, and that angle up there is the 100. So far, it's been pulling back. We took out the midpoint of 76, and we're kind of hovering around 73. We look at the daily, you get a better picture. This is at 7 weeks that we went sideways and then woke up. Pulled back. This is a trend line that I have now established, and guess where we at? Right at this trend line, and at 72, which is the midpoint. We made a high of 78.90. Barely, you can say barely kissed it, but it was close. And then the bears piled on. So now the question is this angle in conjunction with the midpoint is going to hold? That is the $1 million question. It found support here, and it found support here. We'll see how that's going to play out, but that's the uranium futures, and that's how high it went. Let's go into CAP, which is Kazatomprom. This is the next one on the list that I think it's important if you follow uranium. Let's look at the weekly and just kind of see what's going on. So we're doing good. We're in the supply zone. This is where the bears run the world here. And we went as high as 43.90. We haven't taken out 41, which is your midpoint, and there's this important low here of 38. So that's good so far. This is the demand zone, but we have penetrated the bear camp. And we're above this trend line. We need a break above this trend line. We look at the daily. You see that ever since we hit June 18 all the way to the 20th, it's just been chop fest. Buyers been holding and defending the 41 level, and it's just been going sideways. But if it does pull back, the uranium futures did pull back really hard. Kazatomprom is holding pretty well. This needs to hold 39. But so far it's not down there, so that looks pretty good and pretty healthy in my opinion. The next one, I call them the four horsemen of the apocalypse: uranium spot, uranium futures, Cameco, and then Kazatomprom. Cameco is a beast. Look how beast and strongly Cameco is. 75.40. Your midpoint 60 in conjunction of the I don't know if that's the supply zone, because I really adjusted all this stuff here, because we're going into new territory here. Let's see. I don't know. Do I need to go monthly? You can see this is the 100. So yeah, so there's a key level, which is 59.60. And so far, the 120, the 1272 Fibonacci level is 74. We made a high of 75. So let's do baby steps here. So right now it's at 71. It kissed the 1272 Fibonacci level. So this, you do the extensions because now you're in, you could do other Gann theory technique and stuff like that, and it'll be a wave and get some projection wave targets. But just to keep it simple, we already hit the 1272 Fibonacci level. Next one will be the 82, and then 93. I think that's a 61.8, is it? Yep, 61.8, 93. Very possible. Very, 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 very possible that we get up there. But so far, it's looking good. All right, it's looking good. Weekly candles. I had a Hekanashi. Oh yeah, definitely Hekanashi. Daily, just consolidating, which is good. Like it consolidated here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And let's see if we get a bull kicker like that. But so far, looking good. Keep an eye out for 60. And I throw in there URA, looking good. I'll probably go through these quick. Let's just look at the weekly. There's a little weak here. Weak Hekanashi candle here, but so far looking good. You're kind of holding the trend line, the midpoint of the channel. I think that's the channel I got. Yeah, so you're somewhere around in here. So you're holding pretty much well that channel midpoint. So you're kind of hugging it and finding support. If it does pull in, watch out for 3480. I'm not expecting it to go deep in like 30. But if it does, this is a gift from the gods. This is where you will accumulate, assuming that you believe, like I do, that the uranium sector is bullish. Let's go real quick to NXE. So far, 73.30. Good entry point would be 560. Looks like some kind of Fibonacci level there. But so far, looking good and strong. You had a high of 66.40, $6.40. Keep an eye out for 480. If it pulls back, that'd be a nice area to you can see in conjunction right here with these pivots. The bulls are seeing that. If it does pull back, they're going to defend that area. UEC, popular uranium stock, it hasn't really penetrated the supply zone, which is kind of surprising, knowing that this is a popular stock. It hasn't penetrated the supply zone, which I find interesting, but it is holding this trend line right here. And that trend line goes, where does that trend line goes? Well, let's go to the monthly. High, this thing went as high was 9.39 and 33 cents. And I got that trend line pivoting here. And it's kind of trying to find support there in conjunction with the 61.8, which is 584. So far, let's see how that plays out. If it's going to hold, you got your midpoint at 550. And if it really gets down here, you're going to fight this trend line here. So there's going to be a double whammy, $3.90 and also somewhere around 4 and change. URG hasn't really gone to the supply zone compared to all the others. Cameco, blew through the supply zone. That's why I took it out. Satom Prom is in the supply zone. And you're kind of hovering in the midpoint here of $1.06. It's not bad. I mean, if it pulls back, maybe it's in the midpoint between $1 and the 05 or 55. Someone here may, if it does, but if not, your next target is going to be $1.50. NLR, very popular. I believe this is an ETF. Yeah. So far above the supply zone, so that's good. Although the weekly candle looks a little weak, needs to hold 98.20. Could be an area if you're not in or want to accumulate, maybe. Not financial advice, but just my thoughts. So this is all going to be support right there. We went through URA, URNM. This is a Sprott, the Sprott Boys, Uranium Miners ETF. Have a target of 53.50, but hasn't gone up there. So if it pulls back, which, this is a nice leg higher. If it pulls back and you want to get in, 40 and 50 cents looks interesting. Be a good entry point if you're not in. I want to accumulate, to hit a target of like 53, 50, and even 60. That's the high. SRUUF, Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. This one got really ugly. Look at that. It kissed. And this is a baby one too. I remember this is a baby one. So this is the 100%, and it found resistance at the 100, and now it's pulling back. But it's going to find support here because look at this pivot right here. 1639. This will probably be a nice entry if you were to ask me. Define your risk, how much you're willing to lose, but this would be a nice entry. You got this right here that the bulls are watching. So, and this is natural. This is pretty much natural to do this kind of stuff, and then maybe go sideways and then retest it and then push higher and then test the high of 20 and then continue. I mean, it's a baby stock. It's a baby stock. I mean, baby, trust, whatever, was born in 2021 in July. Something like that. Sideways, consolidated, up, is now made a higher low. Now we gotta test the 25 and then push higher, to get at least to like 33, 42, and then 48. So you kind of get the idea. So yeah, UROY. This is the uranium royalty. So if you're into royalty stuff, the higher the prices of uranium spot futures go, these guys are going to bang a lot of money. But surprisingly, it hasn't gone up to the supply zone, which is like $5 and change. What is this, the monthly? Let's go into the weekly and see. You can see that it's hit the 262-ish. If it pulls back $2, I can see the bulls defending that. You can see here like 189, $2. So this area right here, I can see the bulls showing up. But let's see, and maybe even put a trend line here. Let's see if it hugs the trend line and bounces off of it. But the weekly looks a little weak. The Kanashi candle just turned red. But if you look at the daily, it's just kind of sideways choppy here, There's a lot of back and forth, just kind of very quiet. Go back to the weekly. Let's look at DNN, another popular stock. And when it's as $1.90, there's a trend line that pivot here, kind of cracked through here and bounced right here. So if it does pull back, you got your $1.50, that this could be a nice area. Put an alert there to trigger if it hits that price or lower. And if you want to, nibble a little bit, since you lost all this move, that could be an idea trade. And then place your risk. You got a level down there. Yeah, you got a lot of levels that you be like, yeah, if it's not gonna bounce here and it goes lower, then I'm out. Let it stop me out, and that was a loss. That's the kind of mindset you have to have when you trade the uranium sector. We already did the futures. Let's look at this. This was a new one that someone added. This is like, you got to check out LEU. This is a big boy stock. Centrus Energy. And if there's other ones you think I should add on this list, I try to keep it really simple, more US based. Cameco is a Canadian company, but I like the CCJ one. I've traded this, so I like it. And it's one you want to keep on your radar. LEU, big boy stock. It went as high as 211. If it does pull back, you got a good level to watch, which is 125 in conjunction with these pivots. So the bulls are going to see that. So if the bears come, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 weeks here, and that finds support, you could probably put a trend line there and see in conjunction if it bounces off of it, that kind of stuff. But I think that's it. I'm going to sign out. I still remain bullish. I'm holding long for the long term. Probably in the next video I do. I'm not going to do it today because this is my part 2. But maybe for see, we're in July, maybe for August. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. I'll leave it as a surprise. We'll see what happens in August, but so far things are looking good. I'm going to sign out. Hope you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on uranium spot, uranium futures, and a few of the uranium stocks.